Hello, so this is Bogdan here, and he is going to show us something interesting. Go ahead.
Hi. I'm a Christian myself, and I'm very familiar with the story about Sodom and Gomorrah. And at one time, I saw a video that one man found a place in Israel, which is very close to Dead Sea, and it's also very close to the Masada place, if you know what I mean. And by that place, they found this area on which nothing grows. It's basically ash. It's ash, and it also has these structures on that area which do look like buildings, or they do look like walls. And as he went there, he found these interesting pebbles, or he found these little pieces of brimstone, so he said. And then some people took these pieces of brimstone and they've analyzed them in the lab, and they found that this is almost pure sulfur. This is more than 90%. This is about 98 or 99% sulfur with a little bit of magnesium. And they burned it themselves, and it burned. When it burns, it liquefies, and it burns with blue flame. And this is what I want to try today. You know, I've seen videos about it, I've heard about it, but I really wanted to actually own one of these myself to see the real evidence of the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, this sulfur, they claim that this sulfur is not found anywhere in the world in nature on its own. I mean, you can chemically make this composition yourself, this high concentration, but in nature it's not found to be more than 40% sulfur anywhere. I mean, there are, geothermal regions which produce sulfur, but it's no more, or about 40%. Now, this sulfur is a lot higher concentration, which makes me think, how come there's only one place in the world, or there's actually 4 spots in Israel that have this concentration of sulfur, this high concentration of sulfur? Why is it there? And the only explanation that I find reasonable is that this is actually came from heaven, like the Bible says. You know that the Lord. I'm going to read this passage. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. So, I think I have reasons to believe that this is actually the real brimstone from heaven that God has sent. It's a real privilege to actually hold one of these pieces in my hand, to know that this is actually sort of like a meteorite, where it came from heaven. And when I smell this, it smells like matches, so it smells like sulfur. It looks like sulfur. It's whitish in color, and it also looks like it's soiled in ash. Very soft, not somewhat light, and it's a privilege for me to actually hold one of these. This is like a testimony of what happened. This is a testimony of God's punishment, that this was actually punishment for the people that were wicked, that were perverse. I mean, this stone, I could say, saw Sodomites burn in Sodom, and they were punished by God. Very sad, and hopefully no one will follow their path. And so I'm going to split this little piece in 2. I'm going to save another half for myself. And this I ordered from Israel, and it cost me $45. So I'm going to cut this in half. It cuts real easy. And I'm going to burn one of these. And I've also heard that the white color of this sulfur means that it was exposed to high concentrations, high temperatures, and that's why it is so white, and also the concentration of it is high, and that's why it is white. Maybe I'm wrong, but let's see what happens when I burn this. I've also heard that the smell or the fumes from burning this piece is very, very smelly, and very likely that the people that got burned in Sodom, they also inhaled some of the fumes and actually could have died from inhaling the fumes. So,
And go ahead and explain it and go ahead and light it.
okay, let's light it up. Okay, I can already see that it's liquefying already, and it's burning with this blue flame, and blue flame usually tells that it's very, very hot. Oh, this smells really bad already. I can tell it tickles my nose already. I find this very amazing that that we can actually order one of these and own one of these. And it's just a visual reminder of what happened.
I, as the cameraman, have to testify that I'm almost dying back here from the fumes.
So what they say is that this brimstone is actually a lot larger than what I've shown, and it fell in huge, big pieces, and it lit up by friction of the air, and so it lit up, fell on the ground, and it was burning. And as if when it was burning, while it was burning, it was the ash was putting the fire out eventually, and so that's why little pieces are left of the brimstone. It is amazing. God decided to punish Sodomites with hell quite early, I guess. I think they went from hell to hell, which is really, really scary.
No, this is actually quite amazing. The fact that this was found actually there, that's pretty interesting. That this was found at the place where historically this happened.
Okay, may this little flame be a reminder that God is very strict towards sin. He hates sin. Now, there could have been some mercy in God's judgment while he was burning the Sodomites. It could have been that some of them actually have died from the fumes before they felt the pain from burning. But the lesson is one. Let's obey God. Let's obey His commandments. Let's go by what He says. Let's not go by the philosophy, but people's philosophies and their explanations of what you can and cannot do. If God said you cannot do this, then you cannot do this. If God said you should do this, then you should.